In the beginning, there was a fountain, but it wasn't just any fountain. It was a fountain of light. It was a fountain of truth. It was a fountain of dreams. It was a fountain of youth. It was a
magic fountain.
a plaything, a Trojan in disguise. And in the last great wars, the secret burned up in the fire. So the peasants stood on mountaintops, pretending to be kings, while the kings sailed off in their balloons, pursuing idle things, out across the Himalayas in the night. Yeah, right, it was a magic, 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 magic. Magic, 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 magic. So it was some motley crew who found it in the night. One of them, a lunatic, told me of his plight. One died to the left of him, two went to the right. But he remained, he said he saw the light. And it was magic, fountain, magic, fountain, magic, fountain, magic, fountain. Magic, 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 magic.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is.
iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Southern Thunder Truck Series. It is round number 1, season number 1 here on Inside Lane Productions, and we are getting ready for this, the inaugural race of the trucks here at Kansas Speedway. I am Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you up here in the booth, bringing you the action tonight with Kobe Jordan behind the scenes doing all the hard work on the cameras, and James Watson joining me up here in the booth on comms. How you going, James?
I'm going good. Always a special thing to be a part of the first broadcast of a brand new series, and hoping these boys put on a pretty good show to start us off here.
Absolutely. It's always exciting going into the first round because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to show up. You never know who is going to take that victory. And we're going to be in for that tonight here for this, the inaugural round here. And it's going to be some exciting stuff. We've got some really talented drivers out there tonight. And Kansas Speedway is a place that really requires a lot of concentration, a lot of skill getting it working, and you've got to be so confident of running that higher line to really make the race work.
especially in these trucks. You know, the trucks still have that good old-fashioned sheet metal body, and because of that, they still have a lot of spew. And so even if you think you're given enough room up to the wall, just that slightest little bit that you don't realize is there can reach out and grab that wall, and when it does, it'll take your speed with it.
Absolutely. Let's just quickly look at the Scotcher Race Fuels fueling us for tonight's race, and it is a 1.5 mile circuit, 120 laps tonight. We're going to be looking at 4 sets of tyres across the field, so they'll start on a set and get 3 sets of new tyres to change to, and that could be crucial because tyre wear here is a thing that affects these cars. It is going to slow you down, and it can make a big difference. If you can get the perfect tyre strategy here, you can really find yourself doing well at the front of the field.
Absolutely, especially since passing might be at a bit of a premium with everyone running the wall. So if you're not good at pulling off the sliders, you know, you might just have to try to pass them in pit road. Otherwise, you might be stuck in some areas you don't want to be.
No, absolutely. And look, running open SERPs here as well, so it means that people can tune the car to their liking. And that means that you might see a couple of people trying to take the low line and seeing if they can actually make that work tonight as well. It is possible to get it working, but it is a bit trickier to have it absolutely 100% switched on for these trucks. And that could be an interesting little factor in this one. If we see somebody able to make that lower line work tonight, they could be in for a good run here. But plenty of action to come. We're just in qualifying at the moment. Every driver gets 2 laps to set a time, and they're going to be wanting to build up nice and cautiously. Second lap should be the fastest lap here.
Yeah, just taking that first lap to just kind of get the tires up to temp, try to maximize as much speed as you can. You know, you almost kind of run it like you would at a qualifying for a restrictor plate race. You know, just kind of run up the top for the first lap. And you know, it's hard to say what line you would prefer in qualifying here, whether you would try to hug the bottom line or try to rip the top. I've seen either one work really, so I suppose it's just kind of personal preference or whatever your set is tuned to handle.
That's it. You know, often the low line is the shortest way around the track as well. So if you can make that work, it should help you with qualifying a little bit. Just set that fastest time. But momentum is so crucial around Kansas that high line can still work despite being a couple of extra meters on the racetrack. But you'll see them cutting down as close to the grass as possible across the tri-oval section and seeing if they can get a little bit of extra time by cutting that bit of track as short as possible.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that, you know, and that's what kind of makes the inside line a little more viable, is the fact that the trucks are a lot more underpowered compared to the Xfinity car or the next gen, and B, have a lot more downforce and drag that they're working with. So because of that, you might be able to just make the inside lane work a little better, just because, like you said, because you have such a shorter way around the track.
That's it. I mean, these things are absolutely underpowered. They're like a family hatchback, aren't they? With only 650 horsepower. Barely worth getting it moving, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and then you got them, as Dale Jr. said, them giant ass spoilers in the back, and the whole cab just taking all that aerodynamic drag. It's yeah. So being able.
I believe they modelled it off a brick for the aerodynamics. It was one of the most aerodynamic things in nature, of course, the brick, and they went for it.
I mean, hey, trucks aren't built for speed, they're built for hauling, and these guys are certainly hauling out there tonight.
Absolutely, and we're seeing right now Brad Newman hauling along, seeing what he can do in his second lap for this qualifying run. Where will this jump him up to? And waiting, jumps him up into P2 at the moment. Zachary Sears leading the charge at the moment with a fantastic 30.093 laps. So some very quick laps out here tonight as we are heading to the start of the race very shortly. We'll just quickly head to a short ad break and we'll be back with you with the grid. And we are back. Thank you to the sponsors for keeping the lights on up here in the commentary booth, which we do need here tonight at Kansas because it is very dark out there. But luckily, the track lights will keep everyone illuminated nicely. Let's run through the starting grid, and starting on the front row tonight for this, the first race, it is Zachary Sears and Brad Newman taking out row number 1. On row 2, it is Brad White with Matthew Budd. Row number 3, we have Jake Saddington with Tim Blundell. On the 4th row tonight, it's Parry Anastakis and Mr. Maddie Ray. Adam Tozer and Matt Patton make up our 5th row here tonight. Brendan Henderson with Shane Bowen make up row number 6. On row number 7, it's Craig Roffey with Tony Roffey, a Roffey affair. Lachlan Urquio with Brian Blundell make up row number 8. We wait for that to update. There we go. Paul Jackson out there tonight. PJ off the commentary booth into the race. We'll wish him the best of luck with Kim Roffey on his outside on row number 9. On row number 10, it's Ben Henniker with Mr. Matty Hunter, a former colleague of mine up here in the broadcast rooms. Then it's Ruben Phelps with Mark Grocott making out the final row of the race. Ignore James Watson out there. He is not allowed out on track.
He doesn't exist.
No, we've lashed him up
He's
in the commentary
a figment
booth.
of your imagination.
He's a figment of a deranged imagination out there.
Yeah, I'm very deranged. He's fake news.
So what are we expecting tonight with these boys, James?
I'm expecting a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of close racing. This might be a bit of a pack race here with, it being underpowered trucks, mile and a half, cold temperatures here at night. I think they're going to be pretty well on top of each other, so we might be in for some chaotic moments here.
Oh, that is what we live for. We are very excited for this as the pace car comes out and we get ready for this round 1 of the Southern Thunder Truck Series here on Inside Lane Productions. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, make sure to hit the like button and share it around on your socials as well so we can get as many eyes viewing these races as possible. We thank everybody for joining us here tonight and we look forward to seeing you in the future for some more races here for the trucks on a Friday night. Let's get ready for the pace car to pull in and we will be going green here for the first time very, very shortly. It is the American Zachary Sears up on the front row with Brad Newman on his outside. How is this start going to go? We're going to find out in just a few short moments as we go green here at Kansas for round number 1 of the Southern Thunder Truck Series. And they get away nicely through the field. We've got a lot of action in the mid-pack, 2, 3, almost 4 wide at some spots. They are really looking to get a move on, trying to get their positions early in this one. Hopefully we get to see lots of green flag racing, but 3 wide at this stage.
Oh, already got chuck loose. Oh, there's already contact. Oh, boy.
Big moment in the mid-pack. I think that was Parry Anastakis there. Very well saved for the Rogue Sim Sports driver.
Yeah, that was a rough couple of 100 feet converted into something that isn't freedom units for those watching locally. But yeah, you saw the 144 get super loose and then make a little bit of contact with one of the SRM trucks. I think it might have been the 15, but I couldn't quite tell in all my screaming.
I think it was the grey flavour of the SRM truck, which I think, I'm just looking through to see who that was. I can't quite get it. I think it might have been Jake Saddington that just had that. Luckily, all different colours, so make it nice and easy to spot the difference with those ones. But up the front, Brad Newman has taken the lead. Watch out for this Lost Esport driver. He is very, very quick. If this is the first time seeing him, he is a very quick driver, very, very aggressive, but also very good at leading the charge up the front. And he is doing that at the moment. Zachary Sears just behind him. Matty Budd taking the much higher line at the moment. He's choosing to go up high. Looks like Brad, White, Sears and Newman are all sticking on the low line at the moment. So we'll see how that one pans out. Should help a little bit in the long run for Matthew Budd, but might just be a little bit slower in this initial stages. But we'll see how it shakes out as these laps tick away.
Well, that's the thing is, you know, conventional wisdom, you would think that, but from what I've always been told and from what I've always felt on iRacing, running the bottom actually seems to be the way to go for saving tires, which, as you're well aware, is a bit of a tough ask here at Kansas, considering how dominant the outside line is here. And it looks like Matty Budd, he's not really worried about tire saving with that line he's running. He's full send or no send here, trying to make as much hay as he can around the outside.
Yeah, he's got some good pace at the moment, and the good thing about the high line is you get that real big run off the corner, and you just get that momentum, and that's the key thing at a place like Kansas is momentum. You know, when you're running that low line, you sort of have to lift off a little bit harder in the entry just to get the car turned in. You can get it through the corner, but sometimes you just lack a little bit of speed off, and you can see there, big slide up from the 342, blocking Matty Budd's attack.
Yeah, and the camera view we had, it was terrifying because you weren't sure how close they were going to be on exit. You weren't sure if they were going to clear each other or they were going to stuff each other into the wall.
I was getting very, very ready to call a caution, man. I must admit.
You and I both.
Great driving there, keeping themselves out of trouble. And yeah, as you said, it's a place where the high line can really work, but you know, I personally am always a fan of the low line. I hate running up against the wall, and that always costs me at a place like Kansas. Looks like we might have lost Matty Patton from this race, unfortunately, out early doors. So possibly something going on there, and he's just pulled it in and pulled it out of the race, possibly a penalty at the start of the race, or just coming into the pits a little bit too hot, but unfortunate there. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got some great racing for second place at the moment, as we see Zachary Sears and Matty Budd really pushing it hard, close as you like it, rubbing his racing boys, and they are rubbing each other.
Yeah, meanwhile, that is just let Newman just absolutely set sail, already a second up on these two here, not even 10 laps into it. See 37 dropping down. Oh, pulling a little bit of a slide job right there. Good move. But that 342 not going to be taking it lying down. He's going to try to see if he can sneak right back up.
Yeah, this is all working out beautifully for Brad Newman. He's looking in his mirrors going, yeah, if you boys want to fight this hard, I am very happy about it. I will just keep running away up the front and scampering off as much as I can.
Yeah, he's just cruising at this point, cruising that beautiful truck. It pretty much running a Falcon Tire livery, and I really like it. You know, when you see the talk of iconic paint schemes, iconic livery brands, you know, you really don't see Falcon Tire brought up as nearly as often as you think. You know, you always hear like Martini or Castrol and so on and so forth, but like you really don't see Falcon mentioned, and to me those cars are just as iconic and absolutely stand out as we see the 85 get in the wall a little bit.
Absolutely, a beautiful set of colours for that car as well. The colours they've got for the Falcon Tires cars, they're just nice and iconic, very easy to spot straight away, and they look very good on the Beamers and Porsches in the GT3 world, but they transfer nicely to the trucks.
Yeah, makes you want to see Falcon Tire get into a lot of other forms of motorsport too. just to see those colors on more tracks.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things you can make some beautiful iconic colours and they just stand out so quickly. And it is, if you can get that colour matching working well as a brand, it is so useful because it just stands out for the rest of time. You know, you've got the red and white of Marlboro, you've got the beautiful sort of seafoam green, the sort of blues of Falcon Tire, of course the orange and blues of Gulf.
Yeah, the red, blue, and white of Martini, black as well.
Good old pure black JPS. I mean, most of it is just cigarette brands, in all honesty, but it's but it is
I
nice.
know. It's wild when you stop and consider how much of World Motorsport or it was propped up of cigarette companies. Oh, Matt Budd in the one. He's hanging onto that wall. That's gonna cost him some serious time and might be some damage too.
Well, we were just talking about that with momentum, weren't we, James? Like, that's the thing about Kansas, is you give that wall a little rub, you might not get damage, you might not even get a 1x from it, but it costs you so much momentum, and Matty Budd is struggling right now. That rear tyre is not gripping up at all, and that thing is sliding. He is drifting around the corners.
Yeah, you wonder how much damage he got from that. He was pretty much going full Chastain there.
Riding that wall hard, but it looks to be, it might just be a case of him having to just resettle and get used to how the truck feels, because it seems to be sort of getting back to him. Meanwhile, there's some great battling throughout the pack, down with Brenton Henderson at the moment. He's side by side with his teammate, where am I? He's up there with Adam Tozer, Ruben Phelps, and Jake Saddington, and they are racing hard at the moment. And Adam Tozer currently leading that group with his fantastic livery. Very, very cool little hot dog on the car. And he is flying along nicely at the moment, just ahead of them. But they are racing hard throughout the pack. And this is all just letting Brad Newman just keep cruising out, enjoying the clean air, enjoying the fresh air out front, which is going to help a lot. And he's not having to worry about any warm air coming into the truck. He's not having to worry about any slide for the car. He can just run the lines he wants and just keep running up out front.
Yeah, well, we say that, and Sears is starting to run him down just a little bit. Looks like he's caught up about a tenth or so the last couple laps.
Yeah, he's luckily just in that sort of range where he starts to get the slipstream, starts to get the draft a little bit. And it can be quite effective at this place. I was running here last night, and once you get into that sort of 6.6 of a second range, you do start closing up quite quickly. But you've just got to keep the car honest and keep the car in the right position, because it's so easy for this thing to run a little bit wide or get a little bit loose in at the mid-corner. It's so easy to snap here and find yourself hurtling towards the infield.
Exactly, and the last thing you want to do is recreate that one Ryan Preece wreck here from a couple years ago where he lost off of turn 2 and just got down to the inside high wall like mock Jesus. Among many Ryan Preece wrecks that you don't want to recreate from the past few years.
Yeah, there's not many wrecks I would like to recreate, in all honesty, but yeah, definitely on the list of ones that I really, really do not want to try and recreate. The infield walls are not the most forgiving things these days. Luckily, the safer barrier has made them a little bit less evil than they used to be, but there are still those lovely openings and lovely areas where things do get pretty wound up. We're jumping to a replay here, I believe. And looks like maybe just a big blink for one of our drivers there. Maybe, didn't quite see who it was, but Jake Saddington is dropping down the order a little bit.
Yeah, I believe it's Brenton Henderson, another one of the SRM trucks. He was running up in the top 15, and now all of a sudden he's way behind the pack, about 12 seconds, in fact.
Hopefully nothing too untoward there for Brenton. Hopefully he can get that back on pace. Very quick driver, absolutely up there, but doesn't have the best of luck unfortunately. We're seeing a lot of cars sort of really having to muscle it around at the moment. I was watching Matty Budd just before, and he was just drifting it around the high line. Got Craig Roffey out there as well, another very talented oval racer. He's one to watch out for. He's one of those drivers that will be quiet in the early stages and just find his way up to the front. That's the number 4. It's contacting the wall. Good save there. Still trying
he's not
to
done.
wreck. Tim Blundell there.
That was a save and a save and a save and a half. Good gracious. And I think he's still saving it.
Now that was a heavy... It wasn't that heavy a hit to the wall, but it's enough to knock the tracking out of that front wheel, I reckon, and the steering is not quite there. Trying to get that thing moving in the right direction, and it just chasing it for a good half a lap there, but managed to get it back out on track, and is still sort of setting some pace, but he'll be hoping for a caution soon or a trip down pit lane to get some repairs done to that truck.
Yeah, it's just... He caught it at the right angle and it just kind of snapped the truck down. And he caught the grass and it just ballooned from there. It was the terrible, awful, no good, very bad half a lap for Tim Blundell.
Meanwhile, the mid-pack is still racing hard, but up the front, the gap is closing. It's down to about half a second now between Zachary Sears and Brad Newman. So Sears is coming back at Newman now and starting to close that gap a little bit. And you can see they're running different lines as well. Newman's a little bit happier up top, but Sears is running that low line at the moment and making it work.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Sears up top for more than a little bit. Of course, the moment I say that, he's running the top. The moment I say that, and my point is already completely demolished.
See, and I can say that's not because he's listening to us. It's just drivers instinctively know. It's like telepathy for them. They know when you're talking about them, and they will just do the opposite of what you're talking about, just to make you look silly.
Yeah, ears are... got some YouTube comments here.
Big good evening to Troy Morrison, out busy working in the tractor. Unfortunately, not able to get that out on track because I think a tractor would be pretty fun on an oval. And of course, Steve Hoppett out there watching us. Can't race tonight, but good to see him. And a big hello to Sarah as well. Nice to see you out there in the chat, as always, supporting all that's going on. A big thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Make sure to hit those subscribe buttons, hit those like buttons, comment away, and also share for the socials as well. Get the word out there for the series and get more eyes on us for the future. Looks like Matt Patton's managed to get the car back out on track and it's just going to get out for some laps right here. So hopefully whatever the problem was has been fixed for Mr. Matty Patton, and that car can get back out on track and just get some laps under his belt and get some crucial information. Hopefully will help him out next time.
Yeah, he comes out right up in the way of some of the lead lap trucks. Bit hair raising for everyone behind, but no harm, no foul.
Of course, he's going to have much fresher tyres as well, so he's probably going to have more pace than the leaders, and he'll be sort of scything his way through that group very, very soon, and that's something we will see once pit stops start happening. As big moment for I think it might have been Lachlan Urquio. We've got a wreck happening up there as well. Lockie Urquio getting into the back of somebody else. Matty Budd, I think, is around, and we've not got a caution out, but Brad Wright caught up in that one as well. They've managed to spin off onto pit lane effectively, but that was a big kerfuffle. I'm trying to work out what happened here. I think it might be all from Matty Budd. Has had a bit of a moment heading in there, and then it's all caught up behind him. Let's watch the replay here. I think it's the next lap where it will be happening. So he's sort of gone low, and I think he was trying to come into the pit lane maybe and just overestimated his speed on the apron, and it has all gone wrong here for the 37. Watch it right here. He drops down low. Odd place to be. I'm wondering if he's had a technical failure or something. Goes up, hits Brad, and Brad Wright goes up, catches Lockie Urquio as well. And yeah, big mess there for all of those trucks. No caution flag though.
Yeah, that effectively took out half of the SRM trucks. That is an expensive day.
Not what they will have been wanting to see out there for the SRM team. Meanwhile, Newman and Sears are closing up. That battle for the lead is going to be coming very, very soon. And we are going to be seeing some action and fireworks out on track. Hopefully not too much damage for Urquio as we've got, another big moment for somebody else down there. I think it's Jake Saddington. Real big slide off the corner. He's caught the back end of it. Back end steps out on the exit. Big moment. Great reaction from the car behind him. Mark Grocott to avoid that one. Saddington sliding it down there and manages to save it before he gets shot up into the path of a load of other trucks. And we still remain green. So I think some people are starting to wear through their rears a little bit here, James, because that tells me that the back of the truck is not sticking.
Yeah, it is a struggle bus for a good chunk of the field right now. A lot of them are really showing their driving skills, making some of these saves.
It's a very hard thing to sort of understand if you've never driven a sim car or a race car with basically tyres that are on the cliff. They feel terrible. A race car is the greatest thing in the world when it's on fresh, good tyres. As soon as those tyres fall off, it is hopeless. It's like driving on ice, and they are absolutely useless out there. And it looks like that might be what's happening out there. Maybe a bit of heat build-up as well. Could be overheating tyres mixed with wear, and that's really causing some people to struggle. There's big slide up in front of the Cobalt car there.
That was a slide job from Craig Roffey. That's what we call in the dirt world a little bit of a dirty slider right there, but that was pulled off to perfection. But whoa, Bowen's probably not happy about that.
You can see him absolutely nose to tail. But it's one of the weird things about Kansas, James, is this place can actually really benefit from a bit of dirt track racing experience. You can use that dirt track experience, the slide jobs, to your advantage. It's a bit of a funny track like that.
Yeah, that's why you see in real life a lot of the guys that are the most dominant here are established top tier dirt drivers. You know, like Christopher Bell got his first career Xfinity win before he was even a full-time Xfinity driver here, just being able to use all of that dirt experience he had. So being able to just rip that top and work that loose vehicle, whatever you're racing, whether it's a stock car or a truck, and just being able to do exactly what you need to do to keep it from getting loose, getting tight, smacking the wall, or having to point it away from the inside wall, like some of the trucks we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that, you know, a little bit of different discipline of racing could absolutely pay off. And now we're starting to see the battle for the lead coming to fruition. The 33 versus the 42. Newman versus Sears. And Sears is putting pressure on Newman at the moment. Remember, Sears did take pole tonight, has got a very fast truck under him, and he's absolutely coming alive in the long run. Looks like Newman might have the better short run pace, but Sears has definitely got some long run pace underneath him, and he's making it pay at the moment as he looks to try and make the move and, well, do a bit of that old slide job action underneath Brad Newman. But it's going to be it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. Again, experienced drivers up the front battling it out. It makes it very difficult to pass sometimes.
Yeah, but you're really seeing that line that Sears has been running all race long help out for tire wear. You know, I mentioned it earlier, or he's able to just have so much more life in his tire, and that's what's really helping him keep up. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that Newman being able to keep up so much momentum and just keeping Sears at bay, Sears would probably have slipped by and walked away a long time before. Like, you can see that truck of Sears might just be the best truck on the racetrack here.
Just looking through, Jake Saddington has come into the lane and made a pit stop here a little bit early for fuel, but is going on the tyre advantage, trying to take advantage of those fresh tyres and try and get a little bit of an undercut. He'll see what he can do, and we're seeing Kim Roffey in as well. So I think we're going to start seeing those first pit stops coming in, and I wonder who's going to be trying to take it as long as possible. They should be able to make about 51, 52 laps on a tank of gas here, but the tyres will be feeling pretty worn and second hand by that stage.
Yeah, I think it's just probably also a safety thing for Saddington too, because we saw him having to make that huge save and double save right there on the back straightaway. So just getting off of those tires so he can hopefully try to make some adjustment and get a little bit more rear security in that truck, in that Silverado.
Absolutely, and being it opens up, it means you can do some tweaks to the car in the pit lane. A little bit of tire pressure adjustment, and also wedge. My memory has gone shot there. Remembering bits that you can play with in the pit lane is one of those things I forget about.
I know, right? But nope, you are absolutely correct on that front.
I mean, I should know. I do race these things. I'm just just says a lot about my racing. Pariadistakis into the lane, and he is next in for the pits. Meanwhile, up the front, the battle is still going on between Newman and Sears, and they are still racing hard with each other. It's great to see out on track. The battle for the lead at the moment in green flag conditions, and it won't be long until they need to start pulling it into the lane. We'll see who's been saving a little bit of fuel, who has been absolutely gunning for it, and when will we see the leaders come in? That's going to be the big question. So I think we might even be seeing it a little bit sooner, as Brad Newman just hops on the radio to let Sears know behind that he's pulling it into the lane, and the Lobbs Esport driver, the 33, comes into the lane, crossing it up on the entry, but gets it slowed down in the nick of time. Very, very sketchy entry for Brad Newman there. Matty Ray comes in from third position. Matty Ray just quietly chipping away in the 83. And we know never to take your eyes off Mr. Matty Ray. Mr. Sheen loves to keep it clean out there, and he will be there battling away to the end too.
Yeah, we really didn't talk about him much in the early part of the race, but he just kind of appeared out of nowhere and all of a sudden just running third. He was kind of bottom half. Oh,
that was close.
Yeah, that's a bit nerve-wracking, because the lovely little thing that makes your trucks kind of become invisible to each other, where you're not making contact, that only comes on when you're actually in the boxes. So that could have ended up very poorly for both trucks, but good job, getting through it without any serious damage to the trucks or the pit crews that we totally can see and totally aren't invisible to us and our broadcast.
I think we've seen almost everybody in the lane now. Adam Tozer out there getting himself a bonus point for a lap led in the hot dog machine. He's hot dogging and grandstanding out there at the moment in the lead of this race, getting himself a nice couple of bonus points. But he is really relishing this chance to get up into the lead of this race, but I think he might be pulling it into the lane. It looks like the 48 of Mr. Matty Hunter got a penalty, unfortunately. Big shame, actually, because it's nice to see Matt Hunter out on track. He doesn't always get to race. As I say, long-time collaborator back in my previous guises of commentary, doing the hard grasp in the background and doing a lot of production work back in the day. But nice to see him on track out there, as we see Paul Jackson now up in the lead. PJ, another commentator and collaborator for us. We see him on the comms and out on the track as well in the Spark series, which will be coming to you all tomorrow morning for us Australians, or tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon for sure. But do make sure to head over and join us for the Arca Spark series tomorrow. And I'm trying to remember exactly where it is. I'll wait for a voice inside my head to tell me. North
Wilkesboro.
That should be a really fun race.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so we'll quickly head to an ad break after these pit stops are done and dusted. We'll be back with you very shortly for some more action here for the Southern Thunder Truck Series, round number 1 here at Kansas.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
And we are back here at Kansas, still green, still racing hard here for the Southern Thunder Truck Series. It is round number 1 here tonight, here on Inside Lane Productions. A big thank you to everybody for joining us. It's great to see so much chatter going on in the YouTube chat as well. Big hello to Mr. Dave Douglas out there, Peter Jones, Troy Morrison, Steve Hoppin, of course, and Sarah K. Yesberg. Good to see you all out there enjoying the show so far. So in that ad break, we got everybody back out on track, and it's starting to settle in now. Brad Newman managed to pull out about a 1.3 second lead over Zachary Sears during those pit stops, but Sears is starting to close up a little bit now, has got a little bit more pace in that truck, but we're starting to hit lap traffic now, and this can always be a big part of the race as the leaders have to fight their way through the lapped cars, who will be fighting themselves to stay on the lead lap. Of course, no blue flags in oval racing, because why would you? And it means you get more and more racing on track, but I'm sure these boys will be respectable. They won't put up too much of a difficult fight, but they won't make it easy.
Yeah, and lap traffic, especially here, it's tough because of how one line this place can be. You know, you're going to be running the top, and they're going to be running the top. So you need to be able to work the bottom at least to some capacity to get through, because unless they move down and give you the top, you're going to have to work for it. And otherwise you're just stuck having to run in their arrow and deal with all that dirty air. So if you can't work the bottom, then someone behind you will figure out how to work the bottom and just sneak right on by as you're still stuck, as we see another truck in the wall. I think another issue for Saddington.
Been a bit of a rough night for Jake Saddington. Of course, he came in much earlier than everybody else, so he's going to start feeling the effects of the tyre wear a little bit quicker, and he might just be getting that kicking in to the number 15 truck at the moment, and just starting to struggle a little bit. It's always the tricky thing. It's so difficult in oval racing. You kind of want to make the undercut because you make up so much time, but then it's so quick for your tyres to fall off and you to find yourself in some trouble on track. Often the overcut is a much better option, and when we say overcut and undercut, it just means the person that stops first and the person that stops last. Sometimes stopping last can be a much better option because you have better tyres towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and on iRacing, it feels like the overcut specifically is just much more overpowered than the undercut. Because, you know, in my experience in broadcasting and racing, the undercut really doesn't work as often. You know, if you can pull the overcut and have those extra laps and being able to go have a much shorter distance after on fresher tires than anyone else, they can't do anything about it, and you can just drive right on by. It's ridiculous, especially when you compare it to real life, and you know the undercut being able to work efficiently more often than not.
It can be very frustrating sometimes, and it's one of the little quirks. And this is the thing with sim racing, is you have to learn what works and what doesn't, and you know, it's not everything that does work. As we see free wide action here, as that very, very beautiful pink truck makes a run down the inside and moves himself up a spot. Paul Jackson even, moving his way up there. Sorry. I can tell it's late. I'm tired and I'm already messing up words. But no, nice move for
you. Think you're tired?
You're used to this, James.
I haven't even been to bed yet. It's 7 a.m. in the morning, my time. But it's all good. We vibing over here. But yeah, good old Paul Jackson. Used to being in the booth with him for the Oz Oval Series on Sunday nights, but here, he's getting the break, not having to deal with my loud over-the-top behind, and just having fun listening to the whine of the engine and not the whine of me.
The whine of us commentators. Good action here on the track as well. We got Bowen trying to make the move down the inside. Sorry, that's Henniker, sorry. Ben Henniker there battling it out with Okio and moving his way up. And I think that might be that's for position 11 as well. So these are some of the cars that are a lap down at the moment as well. So this is not just a battle for position, it's a battle for the lucky dog position that could be crucial out here tonight.
Yeah, because we don't know when or if the lucky dog is going to take effect. We don't know when we're going to get that caution, if we're going to get a caution. So you can't leave it up to chance, because you let one car by, they take over the lucky dog spot, caution comes out, oh, you're kind of hosed right now, and they're getting the fly back onto the lead lap and get to be back in the race, and you're just back in square one, hoping for another caution.
I always know when a caution's coming out when I'm racing on track, because it'll always come when I'm the second car in line to be a lucky dog. It's guaranteed every time. Good run up the front. Matty Ray at the moment up in third position. The TWRS entered a car, and he's having a good run up there for the SRM team as well. So he's hoping to have a good run as commentator.
Wow.
I am so sorry, Matty Ray. I am so sorry. I'm going to shut up now and just not talk about anybody.
Well, it's still a good run going on here for the 83. As you can see, the SRM boys have the Team Watson Racing setup branding all over the truck, so I'm sure Team Watson Racing setups is absolutely thrilled to have them part of the organization. Certainly don't know anyone up in the booth right now involved with that particular organization. Nope, can't think of a single person who might be talking that as a part of it. But
Kobe Jordan,
hey,
I mean,
maybe.
Team Watson Racing. There's no Watsons in the booth, is there? I mean, there's you, James. Can't think.
I hope not. That Watson guy's a real jerk.
No, good to see them out there. They've been absolutely dominating in the Spark Series as well. So quick in those new ARCA cars. They're hoping to bring some of that speed to the Truck Series as well. And, well, you can't really put it past them, because SRM are one of those teams that will absolutely take advantage of everything. And they've got so many quick drivers in their roster as well.
Oh, is that a problem for Craig Roffey?
Let's see the replay here for Roffey. I think he's had a big slide off the exit of the corner. Back end is going to step out, I reckon. Into the wall and across the grass.
And into the grass. Oh my goodness, what a save.
The Rogue Sim Sports lawnmower services are doing a great job tonight, cutting the grass nicely there. Craig Roffey, great save there. That's kept the car in the running. It's dropped him down a spot or two, but importantly, he is still running, and that is going to be so crucial in this race. Meanwhile, up the front, it is still Newman versus Sears. Sears once again closing in on Brad Newman, but Brad Newman has just been absolutely metronomic in his laps, just really keeping that car in the right position. And we've seen before, when Sears gets up behind Newman, Newman's just able to keep that car in the defensive spot where Sears can't get the speed to get past him. I think the only option he has is to try and get a bit of a tyre offset and really take advantage of that to get past Newman. We'll see if he can do it in this run, but we'll see what happens during the rest of the race.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what what exactly Sears is going to be planning here strategy-wise. Because on the first stop, Newman kind of hit him with a little bit of a undercut of his own and pitted a few laps early and kept that advantage. And kept that advantage pretty healthy at about 1.2 seconds for most of this run. And now we see, obviously, the 342s start to reel him back in. So does Sears consider trying to break out the undercut, especially since he can go a little bit longer as it is, since, you know, he went longer in the first stint, so now he has more options available to him because he pitted. Oh, as we say that, he gets a little bit of the wall.
Nothing wrong with kissing the
good
wall.
chunk of time. Nope, nothing wrong. But yeah, so I feel like we might see him come in lap or two before Newman and see if he can try to get back out and see if he can just walk away in the clean air, because we've seen that truck be a lot faster than the 33 over the course of a long run.
Yeah, he definitely has the pace in towards the end of the run, and I'm just wondering if Sears can extend it a little bit and try and get that tyre offset, it could pay off. But, as you said, it's so tricky because he's got to then try and catch up to Newman again, and he could use his tyres up doing that. So Newman's in a prime position at the moment because he can react to Sears as well. If Sears tries the undercut, it's just going to be a lap before Newman pulls it in and gets back out on track. Whereas Sears, he's got to really try and think what he needs to do to attack this 33 at the moment. It's going to be a tough battle. And, well, they got 37 laps to try and sort it out. Won't be long until we're seeing those second pit stops as well. They are about 37 laps into this stint, so won't be too much longer until we see the final green flag stops, hopefully, of this race. Although I'm sure everybody would be pretty happy to have a caution roundabout now, because it will take them home.
Yeah, and see, that's why I'm thinking Sears might do the undercut, because we saw him pull the long run strap, pull the overcut, and it still brought him back to the same kind of spot he was in before the pit stops, you know, being faster than the 33, but not really being able to pull the pass off. So just try to risk it, go with the undercut, try to get that extra bit of gap and see if you can get ahead and hope that you can hold them off now that the roles are reversed. Now, obviously, he's starting to fall back here pretty significantly now, so I don't even know if at this point the undercut right now is viable anymore. He's lost about a second in the last couple laps.
Yeah, he's plummeting a little bit. We're seeing on track at the moment some good racing between Rogue Simsports and Cobalt Racing. It's Craig Rothey versus Shane Bowen, and Craig Rothey has managed to get that place secured after that big bit of lawn mowing that he did. I wonder if Zachary Sears has just started dropping off. Just tyres just starting to not quite react how he wants them to. There's not much difference between their pit stops, but maybe he's just had to take a bit too much life out of them trying to catch up to Brad Newman, and it's not quite paying off as we're starting to see pit stops happening. Shane Bowen pulls it into the lane, same as Jake Sallington, so final pit stops are starting to happen, and I always find this is the part where we're most likely going to see a caution flag come out. If we are going to see a caution in this race, as you've got a mixture of people on different tyres, people pulling it into the lane, mistakes are so easy to be made.
Yeah, and that's not even counting the good old-fashioned, oh, spun off a pit exit, I'm going up into the wall, look out everybody!
Yeah, the one good thing they don't simulate, of course, is your pit crew forgetting to tighten up your wheels, so we don't get too many wheels falling off, but it is so easy to loop it on the exit on cold tyres. It's such an easy mistake to make, but we're starting to see these pit stops coming in a bit thick and fast now as people pull it into the lane for the final 32 laps of this race. And, well, that's something else to consider, is you don't want to be pitting too late so everybody gets a big advantage on you on those fresh tyres. You don't want to be pitting too early and find yourself dropping off the pace as the race comes to an end. So this is such a crucial time for those pit stops, and could really prove the pivotal point in this race. And as we see, Craig Roffey coming around in the 030. Won't be long till we see that truck pulling it in. We know Craig is very good at fuel saving and things like that, but being a bit more of a tyre race, I don't think that's going to be too much to worry about, and they cannot make it to the end on fuel here unless they've got a fuel line as long as as long as the coast of America, really. It's going to be very hard to make it to the end of the race without coming in for a final stop. It's just when everybody does it. Will they do it with about 20 laps remaining or with 30 laps?
Yeah, like you said, Craig is pretty good when it comes to fuel saving, but even that's a bit much for even someone as good at fuel conservation as Craig Roffey.
Yeah, and Scott Dixon isn't in this race, so I don't think anybody can make it to the end on fuel. So the only person in this world that probably could save enough fuel is not out there. So when will Newman pull the trigger? Zachary Sears is dropping off 2.2 seconds now, the gap. Newman has just taken it to another level and is absolutely flying out there at the moment. As Newman pulls it into the lane, hopefully it's not going to be as crazy as last time. Still chasing that car on entry, absolutely nailing the pit entry, and I think Zachary Sears stays out there. So Sears is going to try and go a little bit longer here, try and get some better tyres for the end of the race, or hope that we see a caution that could jump him up into the lead. Matty Ray brings it into the lane. Who else have we got coming down the lane at the moment? As 19 has a bit of a rough one.
Yeah.
And that's Brad Wright. And just a bit too much rear tyre there, rear brake there maybe, and it's just spun the back around. And he's going to have to do an old flip to get it back in the right direction.
You can't park there, mate. Your box is up there.
As Zachary Sears will be bringing it in this time around. Goes an extra couple of laps here. Gets it down on the apron. Perilous entry here as well. It's very easy to make a mistake and find yourself spinning out on the grass. And you can lose so much time on pit entry here as well. If you can nail it, it's a really big advantage you can get. But you've got to be so careful. So easy to speed in the lane or make that mistake. This is going to promote Tim Blundell up into the lead, I believe. In the number 4, so be out there getting another couple of laps. Brings it in now, gets it down on the apron nice and early there, and just a very settled approach in. Probably lost a bit of time doing that, but has saved himself wrecking out of the race.
Yeah, or even getting a black flag. The 2 or 3 seconds you lose taking it easy on the pit exit or a pit entry is worth avoiding the 40-second stop and hold you would get.
Absolutely, it's risk and reward, and you know when you're really racing up the front, you have to absolutely nail that pit entry every single time. But it's so easy to make a mistake. We saw Matty Hunter with a black flag earlier for speeding in the pit lane. Cost him quite a lot of time. Has dropped him down into 15th position at the moment as pit stop's still shaking out on track. But it is Brad Newman up in the lead for Lobs Esports. Zachary Sears currently in second. Lachlan Urquio going to be coming into the lane this time round. He's managed to stick it out for a bit of time out on track. As we see the 85 coming into the lane here, I think we're going to see a bit of a mistake here. He goes around the wrong side of the cone, gets himself a big penalty, and that is devastating for the 85. That is going to be a very costly mistake.
Yeah, just oh, he tried, but wasn't enough.
That is very, very unfortunate indeed, and it's an easy mistake to make. As we said, it's very tricky, this pit lane. So easy to have things go wrong, and unfortunately for Tony Rossi, that is a mistake that's going to cost him an enormous amount of time. Not what you want on a green flag stop.
Add him to one of the many people on this track hoping for the first caution of the race.
Somebody that has managed to make those pit stops work is Shane Bowen in the 38 Cobalt Racing entries. Managed to move himself up into third position, jumping Matty Ray. He came in about 6 laps prior to Matty Ray and has used that fresh tyre offset to his advantage, getting up past the SRM driver at the moment, who is a good couple of seconds behind, but will be closing in on that Cobalt car very, very soon, I'm sure, to get that position back. But good little use of the undercut there. We'll see how that pays off, and if it can actually work out for Bowen in this race, he will be hoping so for sure.
Yeah, he used that to perfection. He gained like a lot of time actually, because he was he's 5 seconds ahead of Matty Raymond, and he was a lot farther behind before the pit stops. And I don't know if Raymond had an issue on his stop, because Ruben Phelps, his teammate, is right behind him, and he had about a couple seconds on Ruben before the pit stop. So I don't know if anything went wrong on the stop for the 83, but yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, going back to have a bit of a look at that now. From the timing screens, I can't see anything, and from the pit stop, I can't see anything. I just think they absolutely nailed their stops. Just absolutely got that one down to perfection. Maybe a mistake on track for Matty Ray, but I can't see anything other than them just absolutely nailing it. So very good job from Ruben Phelps and Shane Bowen, absolutely getting that pit stop working out for them. So very well done indeed.
Yeah, that's the dream. When you pull the undercut, this is the exact scenario you want to happen. And Shane gained a obscene amount of time on everyone pulling that off. Now, the big question is, can he keep it?
Yeah, he's going to be hoping that he can keep it there and keep that run going. Currently, lap times, last time round was a 31.6 for Bowen, a 31.2 for Matty Ray. So that gap will be closing very, very quickly. But 17 laps remaining, we could see a good little fight here for the final step of the podium. And I'm sure Ruben will be stuck to the back of Matty Ray's car as well, waiting to try and pounce too. So we should be in for a very good finish down there, and some good racing towards the end of this one. Up at the front though, Brad Newman has got a 4-second lead over Zachary Sears and is looking very, very good at the moment in that 33. Has absolutely got some great pace out there tonight and is leading the charge. He is going to be hoping that we do not see any cautions.
Yeah, and yeah, I was going to continue my point, but anyone who watches any other Inside Lane Productions broadcast knows how overpowering my commentator's curse is, so I'm just going to shut up.
We've shown that we do have amazing powers as commentators, as was seen earlier on. Maybe that's what hurt Matty Ray, who is making a move now on Shane Bowen, looking to make his way back up into the podium position. Oh, sorry, that was his teammate. Sorry, that's Ben Henniker there, just going down a lap. Sorry, Shane Bowen's still got a bit of a lead at the moment, but Henniker doing his best to just try and slow down that little SRM charge a little bit. Help Shane Bowen out and keep themselves up in front. they're going to be really hoping that they can keep themselves up there. A late caution could really help Bowen out right now. I don't think he would be too adverse to seeing a yellow flag coming out. Same for Zachary Sears, you've got to say.
And, even still, he was making them work for it, but wasn't anything, too extreme or something that you don't want to see from a lap car. He gave them a lane, made them work for it, but didn't block, didn't put them in the wall. So, yeah, it was a great bit of racing there, honestly.
We're seeing some teammates racing at the moment. It's Parian Stackers versus Craig Roffey, the two road cars battling it out on track. And just behind them is Tony Roffey, watching from a few laps down, unfortunately. But the road cars setting similar pace at the moment. That's a really good sign for teammates, a good sign for the car working as it needs to. As we see Roffey getting the run down the inside and makes his way past Parry, moving himself up into 6th position. Parry drops down to his starting position of 7th. Big bit of back-end slip there on the 144, the grey version of the Rogue Sim Sports car, but he's managed to get a bit of a run here on Craig Roffey and might be able to get that spot back. So some good battling out here. And look, teammates, the first person you want to beat in motorsport is always your teammate, and they are racing each other hard at the moment.
Yeah, they are showing that both parties want those bragging rights.
Up the front though, the battle for third is on as Matty Ray gets a huge run down the inside and looks to make the pass, moving himself back up onto the podium for this race, and there's not much Bowen can do in response.
Almost went full Dale Jr. there. Slide job! Slide job!
Very nicely done, and look, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, James. It's the power of the undercut and the overcut, and well, when you've got laps remaining, the overcut is pretty much king, and you can see that with Matty Ray, just so easy to get past Shane Bowen there. Not much Bowen could do in hopes of defending.
Yeah, and that was because Bowen pitted a lot earlier than anyone else around him right now, so it was one of those where you were like, yeah, it's working now, but might not stay there. But then the flip side is our two leaders, So Newman gets the undercut and made his already big lead even bigger, and Sears is, he was gaining on him. He's not gonna really gain on him much this lap, but yeah, Sears, same story we've seen all race long. He's gaining on Newman, but it's just not enough, and especially not enough right now, still with 9 laps to go and just about 3.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm sure the Nitro driver, if he was sitting on a lump of coal, would have had a diamond after that one. That was a very close moment. So he's done good to keep up the pace. He hasn't really lost too much there. He's still about 3.7 back, and he's still setting similar pace to Newman, occasionally a little bit faster too, and he's trying to close that gap and see what he can do. But with 7 laps remaining, it's currently looking pretty golden for the 33. So as you can see here, Brad Newman in the lead, and has been doing a great job so far. Led 106 of those laps, and has really been the truck to beat out there at the moment. So not much surprise if you've raced Brad on ovals before, you know how quick that boy is. And once again, he is proving that speed out there. Zachary C is doing a good job to really keep him honest at the moment after setting pole position. Sears has had some good pace tonight, but just been lacking a little bit. Just could not get past that number 33, and that has affected his race a little bit. But you got to say, the 33 has been the truck that you probably want to be in tonight. It has looked absolutely stuck to that track.
Yeah, he's basically been able to just, cruise, and obviously he was having to work pretty hard early on trying to keep Sears behind him, but you know, since pit stops rolled around, he was able to play the strategy to perfection and get him that bit of extra gaps to where he really didn't have to worry a whole lot. And you know, that's always dangerous, because when the fast guy doesn't have to worry about anyone trying to catch him and battle him, they tend to get a little faster. And so it's been everyone's problem. And you know, Steers has shown some serious pace too, and at times has been the faster truck, but ultimately it's at this point right now it doesn't seem like it's gonna quite work out so far. Obviously a lot can happen in 4 laps.
Big slide job from Ruben Phelps, doesn't quite get it worked in time, and that's given Shane Bowen the opportunity to get the run up on the high side. So these guys, there's only a few laps between their tyres. Bowen on 31 laps, Ruben Phelps on 27 laps into this stint. So this is a pretty close fight, and they are showing it on track. Bowen able to keep the momentum on that high line and keep himself ahead of the Flying Kiwi at the moment. As slide through the corner, power sliding it there. That's going to give Ruben the run off the corner. Can Bowen keep it this time round, or can Phelps slide it up in front? Phelps closes the door.
He didn't even have to worry about a slide jaw. That huge loss of momentum from Bowen with that big save, just basically he made the move for Phelps.
Yeah, drifting around a track looks spectacular, but it's not the best way to keep momentum and speed up, unfortunately, unless you're 4 years old and actually, you know, that's the way you think speed works. But no, really good job there. Really well done for holding that car in position.
Yeah, looks fast, isn't fast.
Yeah, but it looks good. That's the important thing.
It looks cool, and you know, sometimes it's all that matters.
Exactly. It's like turbo whining and fluttering when you lift off. It's not good for the turbo, but it sounds awesome, and that's all that matters. At the front, though, we've got Brad Newman getting into some lap traffic now, and this is where we're going to start to see a little bit of time loss, maybe, because there's fighting up there between the 15 and Paul Jackson. As black flag on here. It's a white flag. It is. Sorry, we were too busy talking there. As we see Brad Newman coming to the line and taking victory in this race. Sorry, we were too busy chatting and enjoying the race there. Brad Newman takes victory in the race, with Zachary Sears coming in second, with Matty Ray in third. Ruben Phelps brings it home fourth, with Shane Bowen in fifth. They did a good job fighting to the very end there, those two cars, but Ruben Phelps just picked Bowen at the very end. Craig Rothie will come home in 6th position, with Parry Anastakis in 7th. Adam Tozer in 8th, 9th for Tim Blundell, and Brenton Henderson takes out 10th position.
All right, and then finishing our running results, we have the 2:13 of Ben Henniker in 11th. Got Lucky Yuriko in P12. I know I absolutely butchered that. Got Brian Blundell finishing 13th in the 86. PJ Paul Jackson in 14th. Jake Saddington in 15th. Mark Grickock in 16th. Kim Rafi bringing it home 17th. The 48 of Matt Hunter in 18th. Tony Rafi in 19th. Brad Wright in 20th.
Matty Budd comes home 21st, with Matt Patton in 22nd. That early issue for him causing problems, unfortunately, for Mr. Matty Patton. But it is Brad Newman taking victory here at Kansas. We're going to be heading to a quick ad break, and we'll be back with you very shortly to go through our top 3 finishers.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us tonight. And we head to our interviews now, and we're going to be heading to our third place finisher, Mr. Matty Ray of SRM. Matty Ray, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here tonight at Kansas.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Yeah, g'day. How you going as well? You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's nice to be up here in the booth. I'm needing a bit of a relax and a bit of a rest and a bit of fun chatting away about motorsport, and we got that tonight. Some really good racing out there tonight on what appeared to be a pretty tricky track. We saw a lot of people struggling with the rear out there.
Yeah, it was inevitable, really, I think, for most people. Even through officials and stuff, any practice we were doing, eventually that right rear just gets too hot and falls off. But no, we were not too bad. Well, we didn't really have much for the two guys out front, of course, but we spent a bit of time during the week and tried to tighten it up a little bit. But you know, you got to be careful because you go a bit too hard there, and then you'll be nosing it into the fence. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance. But yeah, after I don't know, probably 25, 30 odd laps, depends on how hard you treat it and how you work the gas pedal. But yeah, eventually it just gets looser and looser and looser. So yeah, I mean, it's always good challenge, of course, and yeah, we ended up doing all right tonight, so yeah, pretty happy with that.
Oh, absolutely, and what we saw, the race was a little bit of a blip towards the end because we saw Shane Bowen coming in and you taking a big undercut on both yourself and Ruben Phelps, and really catching us by a little bit of surprise by how much he managed to gap you, and looks like you had to really concentrate at the end to catch up to that gap and make your way past.
Yeah, you're not wrong, eh? He pulled a bit of a Swifty on me too. I didn't realise he was out there. And yeah, I saw that last pit cycle come out. I'm like, hang on, I was third before, why am I fourth? And then I'm like, hang on, where'd he come from, sort of thing? And he was four odd seconds up the road. So I was trying to work out when he would have pitted, but I was gaining a bit of time on him and just managed it, so to speak, and eventually got to him and got past him and had a good little battle with me mate Shane, of course. It's always good fun racing him, and yeah, I think Ruben might have got him as well in the end there, so yeah, not too bad. It was a bloody good outing, but yeah, I mean, we spent a bit of time. We've been lucky enough to partner up with TWRS this week, and they've helped us out a great deal with the set, and been walking around the nonsense garage this week, introducing ourselves and all that sort of thing, and putting a bit of work in with those lads, so yeah, we're really happy. They provided us a really nice set for tonight and just took a couple of little tweaks. And eventually on that last run, I got it just about right. It was still a bit free in the rear end, but like I was saying before, last thing I wanted to do was over-tighten it and then just start fencing it through 3 and 4 or 1 and 2 and going backwards then. So, no, it was a good night. No,
absolutely.
Had a good run.
Great run out there, Mr. Matty Ray. Congratulations again on third position. Well, you already mentioned TWRS, but give a shout out to all the other sponsors for SRM. And if you'd like to give a shout out to anyone in the comments or loved ones, go for it, mate.
Yeah. Well, like I said, yeah, TWRS first and foremost, they've been a massive help to us. We sort of partnered up with them guys this week, and yeah, good bunch of blokes, and yeah, some really burner sets that they're producing, not just on the NASCAR side of stuff, but yeah, all sorts, you know, pro trucks, dirt side of stuff, and IndyCar and all that. So if I wasn't working for the Indy 500, I'd definitely be grabbing one of their sets and having a stab, but I won't be able to make it, unfortunately. And all the usual suspects, of course. We got Brenton down at Scotcher Race Fuels, Alex from Cut 6 Sticker Co., a couple of charities that we support as well with Tourette's and Alopecia Foundation of Australia.
Awesome stuff. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
And you guys. Got to give you some love, eh?
No,
all the hard yards. I'm sweating, actually. We didn't ever get a yellow. You both got the aircon on, don't you?
Yeah, we had it nice up here tonight. No, look, thank you so much, Matty Ray. Congratulations on tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon. Hopefully, very soon in the Spark Series as well. We're seeing some great racing out there. Thank you so much, Matty Ray, and we'll see you back soon.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers, mate.
And I'll hand over to James Watson now.
All right, we're here with our second place finisher, Zachary Sears. Now, Zachary, I think you and I are both in the same neck of the woods in the States, so my first question is, what are you still doing awake? What are both of us still doing awake? It's ridiculous. It's like almost 8 o'clock in the morning here. What are you doing here?
Sadly, I'm used to it at this point. I work overnights, so it's easy for me to just jump on, and I sleep all day, so might as well just hop on and race.
Alrighty, yeah, it's essentially the same deal here, but Yeah, you had some serious pace for pretty much the entire race. We saw you battling with Brad for a good chunk of that first run. Were you trying to, what was your plan? Were you trying to see if you can slip by, or were you just really focused on tire saving and just trying to stretch it out as long as you could?
I mean, obviously the goal is to get by him. The Nitro guys were yelling at me for not going to the top and just trying to pass him. It was more of a, just save the tire. I saw Brad run away kind of a little further than I wanted to, but then I reeled him back in. Obviously, we've been struggling all week with, I have been driver-wise, been able to just, I was struggling, and finally we hit something. Johnny Taylor at Nitro Racing has just been grinding away at setups, and we put out a good set this week, and just been able to find something and just drive it, I guess.
Yeah, we saw the gap kind of ebb and flow there through the pit stops. What was your pit strategy? Were you considering on trying to do the undercut at some point, or were you just focused on trying to get the overcut to work and hoping you can run him down later in the race?
I was more focused on the overcut. I know Brad is really good at the undercut, and I struggled with pit strategy. At the end, I asked the Nitro guys if running the extra 2 laps would have done it something. Obviously at the end it was kind of a gamble and just hope and pray it worked, and sadly it didn't. But got to find something and try something different.
What was the line you were more focused on running? Obviously, we saw you run the top a lot early on, or run the bottom early on, and then kind of move to the top later in the race. Where did you prefer running? Did you like being at the bottom, or were you really enjoying running the fence there at the end of the race?
I prefer the bottom. I'm more of a bottom feeder, as you saw earlier in the race when I was trying to pass Brad on the bottom. Lap 40 or something like that, being on the bottom and still being quick. I was comfortable being down there, and then getting yelled at, saying that I should go to the top. And finally, at the end of the race, I have to go find some pace. I ended up getting a few tenths out of it, but in the end, it didn't really matter.
All right, well, that was still a heck of a performance out there and a commanding second place finish tonight. So, any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you want to give?
Obviously, Nitro Racing and Johnny Taylor for the setups. We brought him on this year, and he's been showing up. BMK Logistics, the Mod Squad, Heat Finder.
Alrighty, well, awesome job tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Thank you.
And next up, and finally, we'll be heading to our race winner. It's Mr. Brad Newman. Brad, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on victory here at Kansas.
Thanks, mate.
A very quick car out there tonight. You absolutely were nailing it lap after lap, and it just looked to be such a sweet setup out there.
Yeah, it was pretty good. A little bit tight in the first run. Just had to just loosen it off a little bit. Yeah, it was fine after that. The second and third stints, it felt pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw in those opening stints that you seem to have really good pace in the early stages, and then Zachary would catch you up in the latter stages, just that sort of long run pace, maybe just that tiny bit lacking. But then that third stint, you just absolutely had it on rails.
Yeah, the changes in the last stop were probably optimum for it, and it was just about deciding when to go from the low line to the top line, which I can't really remember. It felt about 15 laps into the run was when the bottom started to dial for me a little bit. No, there's more pace up top.
You definitely had the pace up there, and look, you've got some real good positioning tonight as well, and it just looked like you just had everything covered. We saw that great battle between yourself and Zachary. You just started holding that high line and just keeping him pinned down, and there wasn't much he could do about it.
Yeah, it was actually pretty impressive that he had that much speed on the bottom towards the end of the stint, like so far in, but it's pretty hard here to overtake someone on the bottom. You'd have to be a fair bit quicker to make that pass get done.
and it just couldn't quite work it. And we were sort of questioning, you know, would we see him try for a bit of an undercut or the overcut? But it looked like you sort of had the pace, no matter which way it went, even on a little bit older tyres. You seemed to just be able to get that truck absolutely working to how you wanted it to.
Yeah, well, at the end of the first one, I wasn't so sure about it, but I didn't really have a strategy. I just ran the tank out both times. But after the adjustments, I wasn't too worried after that. The thing felt pretty good.
Great stuff out there. Look, congratulations tonight, Brad. Taking the first victory on the first round of the first night of the series. Always a nice thing to take out.
Yeah, pretty cool. I'd just like to thank you guys for putting the event on, and I look forward to jumping in again sometime.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you back out here, and you know, it's nice, always nice seeing you out on track, Brad. Hopefully I can once again be up there and battle you in the near future.
I'll look forward to racing you on the track next time, mate.
Be good, thanks. Congratulations again tonight, Brad. Thank you so much. Have a good week, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Cheers, boys.
Well, we are done and dusted here from round one of the Southern Thunder Truck Series. A big thank you to Kobe Jordan for getting everything running and working out here tonight. Of course, James Watson for joining me up here in the booth in his sleep-deprived state. You wouldn't notice it, though. He is absolutely a pro. Great job from everybody and the drivers out there for keeping it green here tonight at Kansas for 120 laps. Very good job indeed. If you'd like to get involved in the series, the details will be up on track at the moment. Make sure to head over there. We look forward to seeing you for some more racing on a Friday night for the Truck Series here for the Southern Thunder Truck Series. A big thank you to all, and we'll see you again soon. From myself, Carl Wilkinson Withy, a good night.